What's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is NONPFIXION. This is my co-host Levels, aka Zach, as you can see above. Now we have our names up there, so it's official. You can see us now. And we are RealFansSports, and this is our fan perspective, aka our Fanalyst perspective on the Eastern Conference playoffs. So, what are your thoughts, Levels, on the play-in that's coming out this Friday?
So we saw a tough matchup between both games. Atlanta and Charlotte. I was really hoping that Charlotte was going to pull off a little bit better than what they did. I was really hoping LaMelo was going to get rolling a little bit more. I believe he had 24 points, 8 assists. But Miles Bridges, he had a tough game. Really couldn't get anything locked in.
Tossed out.
But one thing that Charlotte did really well was defending Trae Young. They limited him a lot. And so now Atlanta, with the win, is going to go ahead and face Cleveland after their loss to Brooklyn, after going down big, but coming up, making it a fun game at the end. I really don't know. Like my gut wants to say Atlanta. I think without Jarrett on Cleveland, if he's not able to play, that Cleveland's going to have some trouble. And I know Trae is not going to want to go quiet 2 games in a row.
Oh, yeah, of
and
course not.
I don't know if Cleveland can match that intensity like Charlotte did. Charlotte's done it twice now. It's not easy to trap up Trae like that. Mm-hmm. And, I want to say Atlanta is going to go ahead and pull the upset on Cleveland.
Okay, I mean, I can definitely see that and understand that. I've talked about it so many times. I like the young core of Cleveland. I like them a lot. And I feel like with the right opportunity and the right style of defense, you don't have to shut down Trae, because you can't. Trae's at that level of player where you have to just limit some things. You have to limit the potential of what he can do. It's like taking a firework, and the explosion can go massive damage. You want to try to take it and put it as little bit as much so it doesn't erupt around everything else. If you can keep him to the point where he doesn't get others excited and get them into the game, then you can take the mindset the Warriors did against LeBron in the 2015 title run, where it's like, we're going to let him score.
Right.
But we're not going to let anybody else score.
And I will say Cleveland has the number on Atlanta. Atlanta has not won a single postseason matchup. And I understand it's still the play-in. It's the postseason, guys. It's basically the playoffs.
Yeah.
They have not won a matchup against Cleveland. Cleveland has shut them out. Now, they did have a guy that goes by the name of LBJ, LaMickey, whatever you want to go by and call him, the king. But we are facing a different team. There is a young group over at Cleveland. I know they're hungry. I love Garland. Like I said, I love Jarrett. I think Trae has some experience. They came just short last year. They played really well in the playoffs last season. I think they're going to carry that through, and I think they're going to go ahead and see the next round.
Okay. I mean, I'm going to go with the Cleveland Cavaliers. That they're going to meet up against Miami. So, in that essence, if Atlanta goes up against Miami, who do you think wins that matchup?
This is probably one of my hardest picks, because Miami is they're so fundamental. They're a very fundamental team. Jimmy Butler, we know he likes the mid-range. We know he can show up in big moments. He was able to lead a very low-level Miami Heat team in the bubble to end up going to the finals. Yeah. They now have Lowry, who I'm not the hugest fan of. Adebayo, and then Tyler Hero, I'm sorry, has been popping off lately and has been playing really well, really developing into a true player. But I think I want to go with the upset if Atlanta goes there. I think if Atlanta goes there, I can see a 1-8 seed upset, and I think they'll take it in. I will say this: if Atlanta gets the opportunity to close it out at home on that game 6, then Atlanta wins it. If it goes to game 7, then Miami wins it. But I think it's going to be a game 6 or 7, and that's the way it's going to go.
Now, when it comes, as far as with the Miami Heat in Atlanta, that one is I'm in the same boat. It's such a toss up, and I guess more so too because we didn't get a chance. We didn't, as a service, as a company, that we didn't get a chance to really watch too many Atlanta games. So we haven't seen them in tough spots. We haven't seen them having to be in a dogfight. We haven't really seen that. So I don't know really what to expect if it comes down to them versus Miami. I know Miami's been in tough spots, and I know what their potential is. And even with Lowry not a player that I'm a big fan of either. But there's one thing he's good at: is getting people in foul trouble. He's excellent at getting people in foul trouble. He's excellent at getting people in foul trouble and collecting fouls. Might as well just call him the collector. That's what he does well. And he can shoot. Like he can shoot. He can definitely shoot the lights out when he gets hot. If he gets hot, it'll be a fun competition between him and Trey. They also have Duncan Robinson, who is a great shooter as well. Tyler Hero is pretty nice, and he's coming to his own. Jimmy is Jimmy. Jimmy is passionate. He is passionate about the game of basketball. People take it as him being a jerk. It's not him being a jerk. He's just very, very passionate, and he doesn't like losing. So in that essence,
That's true.
I think it's such a toss-up. But I could see Atlanta possibly scooting by in a 7-game series. It won't be no blowout. This ain't gonna be Trey Young has arrived. No, this ain't that game. This ain't that series. But if Cleveland wins, that'll just be fun to see what OGs do against the young dogs. That'll be fun. Yeah. That'll just be a fun. Even though I think Miami will pull it out in 6, I don't think they're gonna get it in 5 or 4. It'll be tough fought because Garland is a young superstar in the making. He's young. He's gonna give him some work.
Right. And I have no hate towards Miami. I mean, I went to the Miami versus Pelicans game where Miami absolutely blew us out, and that's why I was able to say they just do things so fundamentally good, and they're mid-range warriors. They kill them up. They beat them slowly, and so like Miami is a good team, and they're number 1 seed for a reason. They're number 1 seed for a reason, but this is one of the few times where I think a 1 versus 8 I think can be a really good matchup instead of your usual, just 4 or 5 game series.
Get destroyed, yeah.
Right. I think it's an interesting matchup.
Okay, so next we have the number 4 seed, the 76ers, versus the number 5 seed, the Toronto Raptors. What are your thoughts?
So I already know your thoughts on this. So, man, Philadelphia is just one of those teams, man. I try to give y'all opinions, like not as like a hater, but I just don't like Joel Embiid's play style. I've never liked Harden's play style, but that's not to discredit them and their ability to score and create points for themselves, whether it's from the line like we see a lot, or it is just shooting the ball. I know Embiid has a big heart, man. I've been watching stories all day about him today, coming from Africa. But, his whole story coming up, not playing basketball until later on in his life, getting drafted 3rd and doing these big things, developing the process over there in Philadelphia, but it's hard. It's hard for me. I don't know. But so anyway, to cut things short, I want to say Philadelphia is going to win this. I got Philadelphia over Toronto. I know we have different opinions on it. I think Philadelphia is going to go ahead and shut them down in I'd say 5 or 6 games. I think they're going to go ahead and win over Toronto.
Okay, so the one thing you said about Miami is that they're fundamental. Toronto is very similar in being fundamental. They don't make mistakes. They don't just foul players. They don't just do that. And if you are watching this video, obviously you pay attention to the NBA season, and you've seen 76ers. If Embiid and Harden can't get to the line, 76ers aren't scoring more than 80 points. Every time that they have failed to get to the line, they've scored 77, 78, 76 points in dramatic losses. It's like if they can't get to the line, it's a wrap for them. And Toronto don't make mistakes like that. They don't just go out and foul players because they play reckless ball. They play very organized, very smart, and to the point, very clean basketball. The only way Sixers are winning this game is if Harden and Embiid get to the line 15 times apiece, which is what they're averaging. They're averaging 12 to 15 times a game.
Right.
Which is ridiculous. That is ridiculous that you can go, you can play in a game where the opposition gets to the line 9 times and you have 2 players that get to the line and combine 30 times in one game.
Right.
That doesn't make any sense.
And I will say one thing, Harden, coming out and saying that he feels no pressure in this playoff situation.
Yeah, right.
If I'm a 76ers fan, I don't know if he's just trying to blow smoke and just trying to put pressure off of him, but that is just not the response, man. You're in playoff basketball. You haven't won anything huge. You're with a team that has potential to go all the way, realistically. and you're gonna say you don't feel pressure to perform at a high level. Like, are you one that confident, or are you just delusional? And
he's definitely delusional.
And I think it's delusion. I think it's delusion. I really do. And like I said, maybe I'm coming off as a hater. So Sixers fans, I'm sorry. Like, but I just don't know.
Well, Sixers fans really gonna not like me because I don't see, if they don't get to the line, Toronto's winning the series.
What you got? How many games?
6.
6? Game 6 at home in Toronto?
Yeah. If Philly don't get to the line, they're not winning this series. That's why when people said, "Oh, Embiid for MVP," no, he needs the line to be special. Harden needs the line to be special. Harden wants the line. He's scared to shoot open shots right now.
Yeah,
he's not even. They're leaving him open on purpose because they know it's in his head. It's in his head. Players say, "Oh, we don't look at social media." That's BS. All players do. That's why they have burner accounts. That's why
it's 2022, guys.
Yeah,
you
we
can't
know
avoid
you do.
social media. It's
impossible. We know you do. So I'm picking Toronto.
Okay, I like it.
Okay, so up next we have the Milwaukee Bucks coming in at 3, the returning champions, and the Chicago Bulls coming at 6. What's your thought on this one?
Man, I am a huge DeMar DeRozan fan. I love DeMar. I always have. Even when he was at San Antonio and I couldn't stand him, I've always loved DeMar. That dude is a killer. He's got killer instincts. He basically, you see in his game, he bases so much off like Kobe does. All of his shots, the way he does his post fadeaways, they are in sync with each other. But without Lonzo Ball, and everyone gives that man so much hate, but this dude is a man that understands the game of basketball. He's smart. He's a great facilitator. He's a great team player. Without Lonzo, I think Chicago has trouble, and I think there's a lot of hate going on towards Milwaukee as of recent. I don't understand why. You're talking about Giannis, Drew, both all defensive players.
Yeah,
I think this is a close to 4-0 series. I say it might stretch to 5. Chicago came out so hot early on this year, and then just kind of fizzled out with DeMar being injured, and Caruso and Ball. But I don't see him making that comeback. I think Milwaukee's going to win this in either 4 or 5.
So as it comes down between Milwaukee and Chicago, I mean, I understand what you're saying about Chicago. They definitely, Lonzo Ball is the nucleus that keeps that team together and helps the ball flow properly. But as far as Milwaukee's really going to show everybody why they were champions. The first year when they won it, it was like, okay, we knew they were going to get there, they're going to win. But now that they've already run it, it's like the same situation with the Warriors. It's showing everybody why we won it the first time, why we're going to win it, why we're going to do our best to win it this time. Because the last part of the season, those last 15, 20 games, it's so hard to stay up to win those games, especially when you have a playoff spot. You're in the top 10. You're in the top 6. You don't really care.
Right.
People say, "Oh, playoff position is important." It's important to those who are ducking opponents. If you're not ducking opponents, then you don't care. Yeah. When you feel you can beat
Giannis
anybody,
and company, they know how good they are.
Yeah,
they know how good they are.
When you feel like you can beat anybody, it does not matter to you, and you're willing to play anybody. So I'm going to say I think Milwaukee's going to win it. I think it's probably might still be. It could be 5, but I feel like the way Giannis might come out, it could be 4.
Yeah.
I think DeMar DeRozan is going to have some hellified games, though. I think he's going to average like 35.
Yeah,
I think he's going to average like 35.
That's what he's averaged the last several weeks is 35. So I can definitely see him continuing that role.
He's going to have a hell of a series, but I think it's going to be Milwaukee. I'm going to say 5, but I wouldn't be surprised if it happened in 4, just because Chicago's missing some very important parts. As we wind down the last of the Eastern Conference, the first round, we have the second place Boston Celtics against the play-in 7th seed Brooklyn Nets. So what are you thinking about this one?
So you said that you think the Memphis and Minnesota game is going to be the most exciting. In our last video, make sure y'all go check that out for the Western Conference video predictions. But For me, I think this Boston-Brooklyn game is going to be hands down the best game of this first round of playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at a Brooklyn team who has dealt with a lot of injuries, didn't have Kyrie really for half the year. He wasn't able to play at home and, all this different things. Kevin Durant dealt with a couple of injuries and just kind of showing off. And we know how good both of those guys are.
Oh, yeah.
And then, one thing that isn't talked about a lot is that there are some potentials that we might see Ben Simmons in this series.
Yeah.
I don't know when. I don't know where. I don't even know if it's going to happen. But I think that's going to be some trouble. Now, Boston is a team that I really like. I'm a big fan of Jason Tatum. I love the way that man plays. He does things very quietly. That's the one thing I'd say is his downfall is that he doesn't he'll go put up 60 points, 50 points, but he does it quietly.
Yeah.
And I want to see him explode as a leader and as the best player on that court. Or I want him to have the mindset that he's the best player on that court, even though you're facing Durant and Irving. If he can do that, I think Boston is going to win in 7, and I think they're going to knock Brooklyn out. But this is one that I really have no idea what way it could go, because I think this is such a fun matchup, because this isn't your typical 2-7. This is really could be a 1-2 team if with both teams fully healthy all season.
Now, I mean, I understand that, and I feel what you're saying. I do think this is going to be a knockdown, drag-out fight. When I was younger, my dad used to always get the pay-per-view for the boxing matches, and we look forward to the Mike Tyson matches, but we always knew Mike Tyson was going to usually end within the first 45 seconds of the match. So it wasn't the Mike Tyson matches. It was when we looked at the featherweights, those guys, because those guys they're gonna punch and they're gonna fight, and it's gonna go 10 rounds, and it's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be the most exciting thing you watch. That's why I feel like that's why when I said about Memphis and Minnesota, to me that's like the featherweight matches. I feel like they're going to be going at each other, and I think it's going to be fun because there's going to be so much emotion on that game. It's going to be ridiculous. Now with Boston and the Nets, I feel like these are two teams who are really good in their own respects. Now, of course, like you said, Brooklyn has had their issues. Kyrie couldn't play half of the games because of COVID restrictions, but he could attend the games and watch them, which didn't make any sense. Hello, Mayor of New York. What are you doing? And then on top of that, KD went out for a little while. He's had a few injuries he suffered from. Of course, we've had our trades and everything changing on the scope between the Sixers and the Nets. But I think Boston is a very exciting team. And I love watching Tatum play. I think Tatum has I would say a bright future, but he's already kind of into his future. He's just a really big, bright player. And it's Brown is still there, who can show up and show out for 30 points as well. So it's not necessarily like they're evenly matched, but they're closer than some of the other matchups that's going to happen in the Eastern Conference. And this one could be also another long 12-round fights. This could be one of those fights because you have players who can score at will. You have players who can score at a high clip. So because of that, this could be one of those 7-game series as well. Because the top ones, I don't see none of those going 7 games. I just don't. No. But and it's just happened to be the 2nd and 7, just like on the western side, that I can see these two going 7 games. But I will say, I'm going to go against the grain, and, everybody's saying that the talking heads have been talking since the beginning of the season and saying that this team is going to be the team that's going to challenge the Milwaukee Bucks. And I think, once again, it's going to be the Celtics who are going to challenge the Milwaukee Bucks. So I'm going to say the Celtics are going to win this one. And it's probably going to be, like I said, a 7-game series. It's going to come down to that one shiny moment shot that's going to win the game. And it's like whoever wins just happen to win that game. But I'm going to say
it's going to be exciting too.
Yeah.
It's going to be exciting too watching Boston and Brooklyn being so close to each other. They're going to have fans of each team at each stadium too, which is going to be fun to watch. It's going to be fun to watch. It's going to be a fun series. I'm excited for this one. That's why I think that's another part of why I think this series is going to be so fun. It's why it's going to be amazing to watch.
Oh yeah, I think, like we said, for the most part of the Eastern side, most of the games look fairly easy to call. I think this is going to be the toughest one because of what both teams have. And I feel like I do feel like Boston's going to pull out in 7, though.
Awesome, man.
So
I'm with you.
Well, thank you guys for watching this video, but also give us your feedback. Let us know. Let us know down below. What are your thoughts? How do you feel? How wrong are we? How right are we? And then, to those 76ers fans, don't be mad at what we're saying. Look at the games. Be objective. Don't just be a homer. Look at the game seriously. And look how they play when they don't get to the line.
Like I said, this is our Fanalyst review.
Yes.
If you want to come in here and comment and talk, we respond to every comment that we see. If you want to have an argument or a debate on what you think, make sure you leave us your response and what you think. Tell us we're wrong and that we are out of our box and we're talking out of our cooler. And let us know what it is. I want to know. I want to get into a debate. Let's run it up, guys.
Exactly. Bring the noise, bring the fun, bring the comedy, and also don't forget we will be doing these videos live on my personal page, NONPFIXION. So please, the link will be in the description below. Check us out. We will have. We're not going to do all 4 games every day. That's just a lot for us to handle. We'll probably boil down to do maybe 2 games or even the late night game. So please look out for us there. Subscribe to this channel here, RealFansSports, but also subscribe to that channel, the NONPFIXION channel, and hit us up on Twitch. If you use Twitch, follow us there. We do content over there as well. Zach also plays. He'll be playing Madden when the new Madden comes out, but he currently is playing some NBA 2K and some Apex. He's gonna get on that. He's back on the Apex grind. So, with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like I said, leave your comments. We appreciate you. We love you. Hope you guys have a wonderful day, night, evening, morning, noon, wherever you are in the world today. My name is NONPFIXION. This is my co-host Zach, and we are the Fanalyst from RealFansSports. And this has been another production for your pleasure. Appreciate you. Love you. Have a great rest of your week. Peace out, y'all.